Okay, now let's go with poses. This one is a very basic. It's not really very basic, but it's one of the very basic concepts to learn when it comes to drawing poses. It's called what is it? How do you spell it? Wait, I don't want to fuck it up. I'm gonna go look it up. Contrapposto. There we go. An asymmetrical arrangement of the human figure in which the line of the arms and shoulders contrast while balancing those of the hips and legs. Oh my god. That's actually a really good explanation for it, actually. But let's go more in depth, okay? You know how when you're standing in line, imagine yourself, you're waiting in line. Let's say you're getting like a Big Mac in McDonald's and there's quite a bit of a line. You don't really just stand like this, right? This is awkward, this is tiring, this is stiff, okay? And so how the hell do contrapposto come into play when it comes to this scenario? It's simple. A more natural posture when standing up like this is gonna give us like a good insight to what contrapposto is. Normally when you stand, especially when waiting in line, your body naturally leans or like shifts its weight one of your legs. You're putting a little bit more weight on this leg. You can alternate like in between two legs. But yeah, you normally do that. It's more of a subconscious thing. But if you try to notice it, you can actually notice that your body just naturally does that, right? So what will happen is like your body naturally does that. I don't know why. I don't know what the evolutionary advantage of this behavior is, but I know it happens, right? We all know it happens. I don't know if there's anyone who doesn't do this, but from what I observe is that most people, they do this thing that you kind of try to shift your weight. Maybe like 80% of your weight is on one foot and then another 20 is on the other, right? That's just a normal thing we all do. And when we do this, our hips, our hip bone, our pelvis, it actually shifts as well. It shifts where you put your weight more. Let's call this the foot you're putting your weight more on. That side of the hip goes up, right? And when your hips tilt like that, let's just draw it as a box for simplicity's sake, okay? When your hips tilt like this, your spine also tilts along with it, right? Your spine doesn't just go like that. It will go along with your pelvis. So when it comes to your shoulder, your spine is also still slightly curved. When you're standing, it's not gonna be like super exaggerated, but you get the point. So that means your shoulder would also be slightly tilted. Not as much as the hip, but a lot of the times, it's like slightly tilted. And that gives you actually a more naturally looking pose than just regular standing up straight pose. Because standing up straight is like you're in the military. You know how in the military they stand up like really stiff and really formally. It happens, but it's not a natural looking thing. So yeah, this is what they call contrapposto in a nutshell. So let's go back to the drawings we made, the drawing I made. You can actually observe it here. Let's try to draw over it. You see how the spine goes along with that tilt. You see how it's tilted like this? Even here, you can actually see it here, right? She's putting a lot more weight than this one. I mean on this foot compared to this one. And you can actually see that her heel is off the ground, which kind of shows how she's not putting that much of weight on the other foot. And as her spine tilts, her shoulder also goes along with it. Also here, also same thing here, right? She's putting more weight on this foot and then just like that. You get the point. It doesn't only apply to character sheets where the character is standing. You can actually apply it on other illustrations as well. But I'm gonna go back to my point when it comes to models. When it comes to models, obviously you don't do that. Unless you want to do like a asymmetric model, then sure. But as you can see in this model, I didn't do the same idea, right? Yeah, let me get some illustrations that shows contrapposto really well. Let's see. Let's try to find a dynamic one. Oh, right. Why am I looking for something when I can just literally, it's already on screen? This one, right? It follows the same concept. But yeah, the thing you need to keep in mind is that you want the shoulder and hip lines to eventually intersect somewhere outside. I don't know, maybe somewhere here. Gonna be intersecting eventually. You don't want it to be parallel. This one is parallel, right? That's why it's more stiff. Let me go get more examples. Oh, this one is a good example of what I mean by not only applying it for standing poses. You can see here that because of her pose, you can see how she has her pelvis tilted this way, right? Yeah, like that. So because her hips are like tilted that way, her spine also tilts like this, right? Her spine tilts like that. So her shoulders, the angle of her shoulders should follow that spine line. It would look weird if she would just use a posture like this. It doesn't look human. It looks stiff, right? So yeah, that's contrapposto. I actually learned about contrapposto by looking at Greek statues. If you search contrapposto in Google and look at the images, you can actually see how I think almost all maybe not all, but a lot of Greek statues use the same idea. See? It's just the natural way we stand, you know? This is a good illustration of it. There you go. Jajang. Yeah, that's what you need to know about contrapposto. When it comes to practice, how you practice these things, I highly recommend, what is it called? Gesture drawings? Highly recommend making gesture drawings. See how the artist doesn't care about the details at this point. You see how they draw the hands like it's nothing, like it's just a blob. You see how they just do this for the hand. It doesn't really matter as long as you get the gesture, right? And then look at how they take note of the shoulder and hip line here. You can see how it follows the same logic, right? You see how their weight is like leaning towards somewhere. But yeah, that's a very good practice. Gesture drawings. It's very good practice for making very nice poses. The stance. Yeah, I hope you learned something from that.